Hey, everybody. Welcome to pre-show. Got David here. Got David here in the room. Got me in the room. Got us all in the room.
I was this close to taking a nap.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. Hey, I like your new space, by the way. I like your new space. Looks really good.
Well, you really like the Funkos, and Davis really likes the Funkos.
Yeah.
So I wanted to really get the Funkos back up. And what the hardest part was getting the buffs to line up.
Oh, isn't that tough?
But I'll start putting the featured ones on the shelf, and then these will all be past seasons. So it is, but it's fun, especially when you're sick and have nothing else to do. So you can do that. That's my problem. I get bored and I start changing stuff.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot, David. All right, hold on. I got to turn off notifications. Do not disturb. Good, that's on. Oh, I got to get this stuff on my iPad. And I still don't have QuickTime up. I feel all discombobulated. Hold on. Open QuickTime. File, new audio recording, and there it is right there. Hi, Scarlett. All right, now, Boss Jock.
I love when you tweet and was it third person? The stream could start late. Dwaine is announcing at a football game.
Well, what happened is I've set up the live stream to tweet whenever we start. And that's and that's what the top line is in the description. All right. So, am I correct? We have 2 audio feedback. Hold on.
Yes.
Will and Miriam, correct?
Correct.
Episode 6. Will. Importing. Takes it a while, it's Will's. And then
I'd be surprised if he's even listening. Is the game going on?
No, the game's not on tonight.
That's tomorrow night. That's right.
Yeah, they're tied 1-1 though.
I do know that.
I didn't get to watch last night's. Oops, crab.
Well, we just lost Will. If you admitted that, he's not going to pay attention anymore.
No, he knows where I was. Episode 6, and now I got one more thing to download. Make that green. All right, hurry up. One more thing to download, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready. All right, we're going to try this this is going to be like totally unrehearsed.
All right. Start recording?
Oh, yeah. Okay, start recording now. I'm recording. Are you recording?
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1, record.
Record.
All right.
You always count backwards or do you count forwards?
I always count backwards. Why?
Because I never paid attention. It just seemed like I was ready for something to explode. I thought we counted up.
Ha ha! All right, here we go. We're going to start about 6 minutes early. That'll be awesome.
That's a free 6 minutes.
I know.
Part of the deal.
Free 6 minutes. Let me get my thing. Here we go.
It's Aubrey Bracco from Survivor Co. Wrong. Start your wagon wheels and get rolling because it's time to hit the Survivor Trail with Dwaine and Dave on Survivor Talk with D&D. Cock your wagon and float on through. It's sure to be a fun ride. Just be sure not to get dysentery and die.
Don't get dysentery. Don't get dysentery and die. Yeah. Welcome to Survivor Talk with D&D. My name is Dwaine, and we are just 2 best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And I'm here with my best friend, David Jones. David is from Virginia. How are you doing, David? Are you tired?
I'm a little tired, but I thought we were doing soul Survivor Talk for a minute there. You were kind of getting into that.
Well, you'll find out why in just a little bit.
Okay.
I got a little bit of a surprise for you, David.
Sweet. I like surprises.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a long night for me. That's why we're starting an hour and a half later than we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
As you may or may not know, everybody, I announced for our local high school band, and they decided to play on a Thursday night, 45 minutes away. So I announced the band, got in my S2K, and drove home only 5 miles over the speed limit.
When you say announce the band, did you just introduce the band?
Yeah, I just go, okay, here's the band. No, I have to, like, ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Athens, that kind of stuff.
So you just have one announcement and you're done?
No, I say quite a bit of stuff.
Oh, okay. You just announce the band. Here's the band. And then you just head to your car. And
they pay me a lot of money. Football? Yeah, they pay me a lot of money to say, here's the band.
I'll bet they do.
Oh, man. Tonight we're talking about episode 6. We're not going to recap it. We're going to pretty much let your feedback take care of all that stuff. The truth works well. Ironically, it didn't. That was an evil laugh, David. You went, whoa. Anyway, we're going to read, listen to, and discuss your feedback, your thoughts on the show. And we have quite a few tonight. How many do we have, David?
I think we have 11.
Wow. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing on whatever program you use, whether it's iHeartRadio or Stitcher or Podbean or iTunes. Thank you for subscribing to the show and for sharing the show. Let everybody else know about it. We really appreciate it. So check out our website, survivortalkwithdnd.com, or just stwdd.com. We have 2 bloggers that are actively blogging right now, Brian and Kessler. Wow, I feel stupid. What's his last name?
Brian and Ryan.
Brian and Ryan. There you go.
Ryan's is already up. It's a good recap.
Yeah, Ryan's, like, his last name is Keisler, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. So check out our website. Also on our websites, links to Amazon, links to the D&D store, links to Patreon, all that kind of stuff. So join our fun Facebook group for daily Survivor discussion. We're not always on there during the day, but because sometimes we're very busy working.
And if you're looking for a group to watch Survivor with, but you can't leave the house or you just don't know where to go, come in our Facebook group, because there is a live chat going on during the show that is really interesting, with a lot of great insight, with a lot of smart people. And if you want to talk to people while you're watching and nobody else at your house watches Survivor, get on your computer or your laptop while you're watching Survivor and get in our Facebook group. Becomes a chat room.
Yeah.
And you talk only on the thread that Dwaine starts that said all spoilers in here, because we don't post anything till 9 a.m. Thursday morning Eastern time. But if you want to chat with people live, get in our Facebook group and chat with that group. It's a great group. I wish I could watch live and chat with them.
Yeah. It's always fun to go back and read.
I do.
Yeah.
It's one of the first things I read in the morning is read.
Now, if you're watching us live right now, like video right now, thank you so much. Join the conversation in the chat room. Got a pretty good little group of people in the chat room, even though we're starting an hour and a half later. That's pretty cool. If you like what you see so far, click the thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I know I post other videos besides just Survivor Talk, but you don't have to watch those. You can if you want, but you don't have to. But at least you'll know whenever, we have new Survivor videos. All right, we're having a drawing, David, on our next episode, because we will be in November. You have, not you, but other people have until the end of October. We have 2 more openings for a drawing for a signed shirt or mug. All you have to do is become a D&D patron at $6 a month, or raise your existing amount to $6 a month to be entered. You can even drop it after you do it. But if the next 2 people, of course, I prefer you forget you did it and just kind of let it go, just keep on helping us out. Mm-hmm. It is time for... Yeah, every time you hear that, you think of Jay walking around the island singing it.
Oh, yeah, that's nice that you get to call your own music. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
Hey, Jay, we don't play that song anymore. Say you want to hear this song because that's what we're going to play. Okay, I want to hear this song.
Yeah. Oh, man. So it just initial thoughts. Did you have any initial thoughts, David?
My first thought was finally a move I can get behind.
There you go.
That was my first initial thought. I'm all for Adam's move, and we'll talk about it through all this feedback. How many did you have?
I don't have any.
Oh, well, my second one is I think Michelle is the smartest player this season, but I think she's bound for pre-merge.
Yeah.
But I think she is the smartest player this season, and I hope she gets to play again.
Well, she might have, with a Figgy gone, that might have helped her out a little bit.
It might. I hope it does. And I think of all people, she's one of the smartest people to figure out a way to do it. I just think she's been discovered as being a puzzle master. And I think her social skills are incredibly smart. And there's just I like watching Michelle in the game because she does little things socially and physically that make you see, oh, she's thinking. She's not reacting. She did not react to Figgy. She didn't smile at her. She didn't turn toward her and wave. She acted like, please shut up.
Yeah. I like how she handled that in camp. She brought it up. Apparently, I'm Figgy's best friend, you know?
And but she might have slipped up when she said she owes me her life. Because
I thought that too.
Yeah, we know that everybody shares everything. I'm pretty sure 99% of everything's been shared. Everybody knows that David played an idol. Everybody knows that this happened, you know? And I'm sure she shared that, you know, they worked it out and got Mari out and saved Figgy, but I don't know if that did it, but she's definitely on Zeke's radar.
Yeah.
You know, is how good she is, and that's not good. And the fact that Zeke got the confessional on the first night of how these goofy Gen Xers saved us and got rid of one of their own, the fact that he got the confessional leads me to think he's going to go further than Michelle, and that's why I think Michelle's got a short life coming up, which I hate because I think she's really smart.
But I wonder if the if Zeke is going to go over with the Gen Xers or if Chris is going to come over with the Millennials. You know, because they kind of gave us a little bit of they didn't show us Michaela saying that to the other tribes at the challenge. They did that for a reason. You know, she's like millennial strong. And then she tells them, y'all got 3 millennials. If you don't know what to do, y'all don't deserve to win.
And I think that's a great point because I think the Gen Xers have been split long enough that they can start to reform in new groups. Yeah. But if the millennials start to fracture, they're just now fracturing while the Gen Xers are going to start coming back together and picking up the millennials. So it's almost like who cracks first, reforms first. And that could play in some of the Gen X's favor. I still don't think they're never going to have the numbers. Yeah. But the millennials could start cracking next week if some people say, hey, they got rid of Figgy. And Jay says, what do you mean they got rid of Figgy? That's not good. You know? Right. So it'll be next week's reaction is going to be 10 times better.
Oh, Michaela's going to be ticked off. And she's just going to call them out and go, well, yeah, you're gone. And Taylor's going to go, I didn't do it. Adam did it.
I don't know. I don't think Michaela will. I don't know. I don't think she'll do that to Adam. I don't think she'll call out Adam like that.
No, she'll when they come up and Figgy is gone, Michaela's going to react. She's reacted every single show. She reacts to something. She's going to react. She won't know who voted him out, although she'll assume it wasn't Taylor. So she might say something to Adam. I'm going to err on the side of she will.
I don't think she will go directly at Adam because she has a good extra scene confessional where she knows she has to mind her mouth around camp. She can't say but so much, but in games she's the most intense person out there. And basically leave me alone because I'm doing it right.
It's like, Hannah, just shut up, Hannah. Just put your hand. Don't move it.
Be quiet and be ready for direction because I'll give it to you when you need it. Otherwise, do not talk to me because you're throwing me off. But I could see her saying, well, I guess we know who's not smart enough to play the game. I could see her saying that.
Yeah, and I could see Taylor going, it wasn't me. You think I voted her off?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, Taylor's going to go.
Yeah.
Just point that way.
Yeah. But what about that challenge, that was the right way to do it. One person sits still and the other person does the movement, and then gives instruction if they need it done. Not
Right.
both people at the same time with your leg going halfway out the air. I mean, that's not going to work.
It's almost a trick. It depends on who figures it out first. And Michaela said, I figured it out pretty quick. And I just had to get Hannah to stop moving. And once she did, boom, they were done.
Yeah. She's just one of those, like the doctors with really bad bedside manner,
But she cures you.
Yeah. She cures you, but you leave crying.
You stop talking long enough to take the medicine, you'll get better. But I said stop talking and take the medicine. Yeah. But you know what?
And let me do my job. I know what I'm doing.
You know what? But when she's blunt, she's factual. She speaks the truth when she speaks. So it is what it is.
And then she hugs Hannah afterwards, like, I'm sorry, I just get really intense. And of course, Hannah's like, it's okay. Just don't kill me.
Sorry, I had something to say so quick.
All right, go ahead.
I've played sports all my life.
Yeah.
I've coached a lot of sports since I've stopped playing sports. And there's these kids that are really good, but not the nicest people in the world. But the thing is, I want them on my team. I don't want to play against them. I want to play with them. And even when the game gets heated and they get fired up more than anybody else and start being rude or mean, if they're on my team, I'll let them do it as long as they're being successful. And Michaela was extremely successful. And afterwards, the first thing she did was hug Hannah and say, I love Hannah. But in the game, if we're winning, Hannah needs to stop talking and just do what she's told.
Right.
And I understand that. And those are the people that I want on my team, because when they fail, they're going to be in trouble. Right. But at the same time, if they can help me win, you can say whatever you want. You can call me a goofball down the road. But if you help me win, I'll pat you on the back and say, good job.
Yeah. Well, it was a fun episode to watch, and I'm looking forward to the next step. Oh, I remember what one of my initial thoughts was. I didn't write them down, but having three tribes.
That was your initial thought, that you didn't write them down?
Yeah. Having 3 tribes and 2 challenges really makes for a tight episode. We don't get enough camp life for me.
Totally agree.
I mean.
And the commercials were coming like crazy. I'm like, really? Another commercial? We're breaking here? But yeah, you're right. We get about 2.5 minutes, and it seems like we're moving on to something else.
Yeah, I mean it's very little time. So
at one of Jeff Pittman from True Dark Times, one of his tweets, and I didn't get to ask him if he found that for sure. One of his tweets though said that the confessional where Jay talks about the idol is the same day as Jay talking about Michaela making fire. That would mean it happened, like last episode, which makes me wonder if they saved it for this episode because they had nothing else to talk about for Ikabula this day, and they saved the idol part for this week. We can't tell by the challenges, but I mean, I wonder how he knows that, or why he thinks that. So it'd be interesting to find out.
All right. Are you ready for feedback?
Wow, we done with the recap already? That was awesome.
Yep.
Everybody sit back. It's time for feedback. Our listeners have to say what's on their minds today. D&D will hear you. D&D will read you. D&D will take the time to take your lines, analyze, and feel you. It's feedback. Survivor Talk with D&D. Take and listen to feedback, y'all. That's right.
That's right, y'all. It's time for
That's
feedback.
Awesome. Who is that? You?
No, I paid somebody $10 to do that.
Because it starts off sounding like you doing that type of voice, but at the end I'm like, that's not him.
No, music is by Amy Jo McCauley, one of our listeners.
Yep. Thank you, Amy.
And it's spoken by Burton M6. You can find him on Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. If you do, tell him Dwayne Stroud sent you. But he did that like in a couple of hours. So I sent him, I edited her music, and I created the rhyme, and I gave him a demo of me doing the rhyme over the track and gave it to him. And then he created it and sent me it with, a real rapper. Not
that was really good. Yeah. I like that a lot. That's a jingle I've been waiting for 6 years or 5 years.
Did you catch all the cool lyrics in there? I did a really good job with those lyrics.
I was listening closer. I don't know why I was moving closer to the microphone because it's in my ears, but yes, I was trying to listen to all the little words.
Here, listen to it again so you can catch all the words.
Everybody sit back. It's time for feedback. Our listeners have to say what's on their minds today. D&D will hear you. D&D will read you. D&D will take the time to take your lines, analyze, and feel you. It's feedback. Survivor Talk with D&D. Take and listen to feedback, y'all. That's right.
That's right. Because we take the time.
I don't want to applaud too loud because you're not supposed to do that in your microphone, but that's awesome. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, I think we should read.
Bruce goes, do you pay him 10 every time you play it? No, I paid him 10 to do it.
That's a $20 podcast already then.
I provided the music and the rhymes. I just paid him for his voice. So
we got some quick initial reactions from the chat room about our initial reactions. Sylvia says she could say they're so dumb, but realistically, Adam was at the bottom, so Michaela cannot complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
He's traded the bottom of one triple for the bottom of another, but now overall, he's burnt bridges to the tribe with numbers. Still pretty cool play. Bruce said that. But yeah, we'll get into this more because a couple of feedback break it down really well, and we can talk about where we think he stands.
All right. So again, thank you, Amy, for the track behind it.
Yes,
and I wrote the lyrics and created the demo for him to basically copy. All right,
my surprise.
Yeah, that was your surprise.
That was awesome.
This is from Sylvia. Where is Sylvia from?
She didn't say. She's in the chat room though.
Dude, Sylvia, tell us where you're from.
Dudette, you mean?
Yeah, Dudette. Hi, David and Dwaine. To compensate for last feedback, I love you both. Smiley face. Actually, isn't a winky face with the P a winky face with your tongue stuck out?
Yeah. As in, y'all are goofy, so just keep reading.
Sylvia lives in Boston. Hey, she's in Boston. After predicting that Rachel was going to make it to the final three, I am glad that Figgy brought redemption. Smiley face. Big smiley face. I have got several questions for you guys. Number one, do you think the millennials are going to be mad at Adam? Which ones? They knew Adam was at the bottom. Maybe Hannah? Oh, I don't think Hannah's going to be. No, I think Michaela's going to be mad. Taylor's mad. Jay's going to be upset. Michelle's not going to be happy. So
I think Michaela will be frustrated because it was a plan that could have worked, but it's been broken. I think Jay's going to be unhappy. I think Will via Jay is going to be unhappy because anything Will does, it's via Jay. I think Zeke is going to be okay. I think Michelle's going to say, okay, we go from there.
Yeah.
And I think Hannah's going to look around and say, what do I need to feel about this? Because I'm still in a flux mode. I don't think it's going to be a mass hate on Adam. I think they're going to say, you know what? Y'all didn't show empathy for the guy on the bottom. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a mass hate.
Okay. All right. Number two, could Orange, that would be Zeke and Chris, could Orange, the new Vanua, could join Purple? Adam, new to Kali. Was Adam's move this episode a good one? If so, Hannah may be begging once again for them to use her. Well, David, you've already talked about you think Adam made a good move.
I tried to draw one of those drawings.
Oh no!
Draw a drawing of everybody that's tied together, and it's a mess. I'm not even going to show it anymore. But you talk about Adam. Adam was friends with Zeke. Zeke's not high on Michelle. You know, Zeke could talk to Michaela. I think Michaela's flexible, and Zeke's now got Chris,
right?
And Adam's now got Ken and Jessica. And from the episode, Ken goes, me, David, and Jessica. You know, he just us three and you. But they could pull in Zeke and Chris. I don't think it's that bad of a move. Taylor could pull something to get Adam out. I'm not opposed. I don't think that's impossible. But I don't think Adam made a bad move. I thought it was a good move.
All right. Like they might go to the bar in the shock in the car. All right. There's my Boston accent. I went to the car. Did you see that shock?
It's not as good as Brett's.
Yeah. Well, no. His is actually real.
No, you're not going to die.
Yeah. Sylvia says she has no Boston accent, though. So,
number
three, should Purple lose the next challenge on purpose and vote out Taylor? No. I don't think you should lose it on purpose. She says, I do not think so, since there may be 4 votes in total between swaps. They could wait until the next challenge to throw it, maybe. But with 3 tribes, intentional matsing, CPS, is definitely something to consider. And her PS, what she means by intentional matsing, all right, is a term used to describe a potential strategy where a tribe intentionally loses so that they find themselves as unthreatening as a small number and possibly join a tribe as a swing vote, with the intended goal of having both of those members last until the finals, like what happened to the 2 remaining members of Matsing in Philippines. And she got that from Reddit. So she would love to hear our thoughts and those of other listeners. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And that's before her PSS. I just don't know. I mean, I'm not sure about the.
I'm 99% never throw a challenge.
Yeah,
because you never know what can happen to you.
I think last season we had okay, now I understand. Let's throw the challenge. I think you went back on that last season, but generally we don't like it.
Yeah, generally. Well, I said 99%. There's always that 1%. Right. But doing an intentional matsing is very dangerous when you got 6. But it worked out for Malcolm and Denise because they were both extremely smart and sociable players that worked very well. Why those tribes kept them in the game is their fault. She had one more PSS.
Yeah. I forgot to ask if Figgy was crying because she is now undateable as a pre-merge boot. I hit the wrong button. And yes, we know it's in reference to what Kat said in Blood versus Water. Just kidding. She is an amazing girl, and a guy will be lucky to have her. I would also have voted for her because she is more threatening to me than Taylor, even though a possible future girl alliance would be a reason to keep her. Unfortunately, Sylvia, these girl alliances never seem to work. You know, they just never come to fruition.
No, but she's right. She would be a greater danger to me after the merge because of her social skills versus Taylor is going to be a meat shield or a target just because of his challenge prowess.
Right.
So
thank you, Sylvia. All right, David, you've got Dave's from Jen.
Dave Holdsworth from New Jersey. Hello from the hills of New Jersey. Dwaine, thanks for the opportunity to give feedback on this week's episode. Dwaine, you really do a great job on the podcast. You rock, Dwaine. Oh, yeah, and David, too. Like my Figgy impression there?
Nice. Oh, wait, hold on. Sylvia is arguing with us in the chat room. She says, One World, the Girl Alliance worked there.
Well, that's because...
Okay.
Kim made it work.
Yeah.
But it didn't work too well.
That wasn't a girl alliance. That was a Kim alliance.
It was also started that way. They were kind of started as a girls alliance anyway.
All right.
Let's see. A few observations from this week's episode. As a TV viewer, I was psyched to see Adam turn on the Millennials and blindside Figgy. Strategically, I think he made the wrong move. Oh, he liked watching it. So he likes watching a crash. The wrong move, but he likes watching the entertainment part. It's likely when the merge happens that the Millennials will have the superior numbers and Adam will no longer be seen as loyal. Not the best position to be in. However, my wife, who is much more intelligent than me, says that I'm completely wrong and that Adam's move was the right one since Figgy and Taylor weren't just a voting pair. They were actually a 4-person block once you add Michelle and Jay into the mix. I suppose only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You have a very smart wife.
Generally speaking, wives are smarter than men, than us husbands.
Yeah.
That's why the best 2 words in a marriage for a husband are, you're right.
Oh, or yes, dear.
Or yes, dear.
Yeah, I agree with her too. I don't know. I think some of the Millennials are going to look at it and say, wow, you made the first big move against that block. And like I said, I think Michelle's going to roll with it and try to get out of it.
Well, yeah, Michelle's smart enough to, yeah, I agree.
But yeah. I am curious, he continues, when the reward challenge reached the stage where the blindfolded person was taking direction as to how to assemble the puzzle from their tribe mate on the platform, why did the blindfolded people all stand between the puzzle and the person given direction?
Exactly.
Mostly blocking their view.
They had to have been told they had to do it that way.
Some of them I thought were standing to the side, like Chris and David looked like we're to the side, but some of them were standing between the puzzle and the caller.
Dude, it's like if the collar's behind me and the puzzle is my desk, they were like this. Now they might have moved over like that and like this, but you would think they would have gone around to the other side and faced the blindfolded person. So the blindfolded person would have an unobstructed view of the table.
Okay, I read this as plural. Why did the blindfolded people? I thought he meant the people that weren't working on the puzzle. Oh, I got you. Yes, I agree. The person that was working the puzzle standing between this. Good point. Good
yes,
point.
David.
I was like, I didn't see any groups of people standing between the puzzle and the collar.
Isn't it funny how we read something?
You got it totally clear the
and
first
it's so
time.
obvious whenever we finally realize what it's about. We're like, why in the world did I think it the other way? That doesn't even make sense.
And he's right to say people because there were 3 people doing the puzzle. And they were all blocking the collar from seeing the puzzle. Apparently not Michelle. Apparently Michelle saw the entire puzzle before it was even put together. In the blindfold reward challenge, David was having so much trouble that I thought he was going to drown, and the challenge took place on land.
Yeah, that was pretty horrible.
That was
She'd
bad.
say, okay, so what was funny is he'd be doing this, right? He'd have his body would be facing one way, and his head would be facing the left, looking at her, and she would say, go right. So instead of going right from where his body was, he would turn his head to the right and go straight. I was like, dude.
See, as fun. I've done this challenge before in a group setting at church. We've done this type of challenge. And the key for me, when somebody's giving you direction, you've got to physically stop and then take their direction. You can't just keep moving and say, okay, now I need to turn this way. It can get disorienting when you're blindfolded. So you've got to stop and let them tell you to turn. 3 o'clock, turn, and then go in that direction. Of course, it's easy for me to say sitting here. Yeah. Let's see. So Jay and Will, David continues from New Jersey. So Jay and Will are off idol hunting, and Jay finds the idol. His one request of Will, keep a lookout. 15 seconds later, Michaela wanders into them as they are looking at the idol. Will, worst lookout ever. I was saying it to myself. I'm like, Will, you had one job. One job. Will's like, I want to watch you open the idol.
Yeah. This is what happened. Jay goes, all right, Will, you got to be the lookout. Will goes, all right, man, I'll be the lookout. And his voice carried across the island to Michaela. And Michaela goes, a lookout? I better get over there.
Why do they need a lookout?
Boy, they were.
You're probably right. You're
they
probably
were like,
right than you think.
They were 2 deers with their caught in the headlights, man.
Yep. They did. They had that momentary hesitation, and she was done. She was done with them. She knew. Yeah. Ken may have a future in TV as Dr. Phil's replacement. His analysis of Taylor and Figgy's relationship and issues was spot on. Keep up the great work, D&D. Dave Holdsworth.
Thank you, Dave. All right. Next, we have Will, the giant ninja, who took time away from the World Series to leave us a feedback.
What's up, guys? It's Will from Wonder Lake again, a.k.a. the Giant Ninja. Well, as you can hear from my voice, it's a little scratchy. I'm a little out of it, and that is because I was cheering my throat out last night. Last week when I talked to you, I told you that the Cubs had a chance to kill the GOAT, to break the curse, and they did. They won the National League. They made the World Series, and Dwaine on the Facebook group put a post asking for predictions for Wednesday night. My prediction was a series split 1-1, and that's exactly where we are. My Cubbies have won a game in the World Series for the first time since 1945. Oh, man. We are 3 wins away from something that hasn't happened in over 100 years, and I am freaking out. And in honor of my Cubs, who are changing the baseball universe as we know it, I'm going to change the way I do my feedback. Nothing about the past this week, all about the future. I'm going to tell you Big Will's version, the Giant Ninja's version of what is to come, inspired by Adam's choice. Adam, as you know, chose to go with the Gen Xers, Ken and Jessica, instead of the Team Fig Newton. In doing so, he drew a line in the sand, and it is going to have ramifications. Dominoes are going to fall. So here is where I see the rest of the season going. Number one, a Gen Xer is going to win this game. The reason that I believe firmly that a Gen Xer is going to win this game is because the Millennials should have a numbers advantage right now. We have been programmed to love Michaela. She is a hero. Everything she does is wonderful television. And this week, we saw Michaela say, shut up, listen to me, do what I said. I'm trying to make sure you win. I'm trying to make sure we all stay here. And true to form, if the Millennials had just done what Michaela said, they would win. There would be a numbers advantage, Millennials over Gen X right now. But instead, Adam chose not to listen to Michaela. Adam chose to do what was best for Adam in voting Figgy out. That is a harbinger of things to come. At the end of the game, we as an audience will be able to look back to this vote, this moment, and say, man, if they had just listened to Michaela, the Millennials would have won. But no, we're going to have a Gen X win. And my prediction is that it's going to be David or Ken. And man, I hope it's David. I love that guy. So how are we going to get there? How are we going to get to a David win? Well, there are 6 outsiders who are going to take down the cool kids. And those 6 outsiders are Gen Xers, David, Ken, and Jessica, who are combined, who are working together as a result, a direct result of David saving Jessica with his hidden immunity idol. And 3 Millennials, Adam, Zeke, and they need to use one more. Use me, Hannah. That storyline from week 2 comes home to roost when Hannah joins forces with the other 5 to take down the cool kids, Jay and Taylor and Will, the young cool kids, and Michelle if she makes it that far, and Brett and Chris, the old cool kids, if they make it so far. I don't see Sunday making the merge. I think she is out the second Ikebula loses. I also don't see Michelle making the merge. I think she is out as early as next week. And that's not due to the next time on Survivor. It's due to logic. David's got an idol. David will play his idol if he needs to. David's the worst in the entire season at challenges. His team will probably lose the immunity challenge, and he's not going home. So who's going to go home if he doesn't? Chris or Michelle? And my money's on Michelle because she had a huge week 1, and then she was silent all the way up until this week, and now we heard from her again in relation to Figgy going home. I think Michelle's a dead woman walking. What about you guys? Dwaine, David, what do you think of my predictions? What do you think about a Gen Xer winning, a winner, a world in which the Chicago Cubs are World Series champions and David wins Survivor? Later, peeps. Go Cubs. Will at the Giant Ninja.
Well,
I would
some strong predictions there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I would not want to be cross-examined by Will.
No, I mean,
but I would take that bet about David because I just can't see. We've talked about the edit, and some of our feedback talks about the edit. His edit is just, it's a 50-50. It's as bad as it is good. And I just can't see where he comes out a winner from the way he's played. I don't know who would give him enough votes or who he could take to get enough votes.
Yeah. And then go ahead. Then his Sunday comment, they haven't shown very much of Sunday at all. I don't really see her making it towards the end unless she goes as a goat, but they're just not really enough. Yeah. It's like, what is she doing? They're not showing us anything she's doing.
And I think I read in our Facebook group that Michelle didn't even get a confessional this week. Everything we got from her was in the face of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think she had a confessional, and that's really bad. Like Will said, she started off gangbusters, and now she's practically disappeared, except for winning challenges.
Yeah.
But to go back to what he started saying, watching the Cubs clinch the pennant, Terry and I watched it and just got choked up watching all the reactions and all the fans from all ages, from all the cheers. And I grew up, I'm a Reds fan, but I grew up with WGN, the channel. So I heard Harry Carey like every other day, going there. And all I could hear was him saying, Cubs win, Cubs win, Cubs win.
Cubs win! Cubs win!
That's it. That's it right there. That's what I heard. And it was hilarious. And I got choked up, and I'm not even really a Cubs fan. But it was just so great for such a long streak to be broken.
I mean, normally I wouldn't care because I'm not really a Cubs fan or a Cleveland fan. Mm-hmm. But I'm going for the Cubs because of the 108 years thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize Cleveland's been a while too, but I got to go with the 108 years.
So I'm just pulling for I just want a game 7. That's all I care. I'd like to see it go all the way to 7. So what do you think about a Gen X for winning? I would say Ken before David, but
I would love to see a Gen X win.
That would be
and it's possible. I mean, surely it's possible.
Not having the numbers, but I could see that 6 doing something. But they're going to have to be smart about it and use them idols. They have to find more idols. But yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, if they win, I don't think it's going to be because those 6 stuck together. I think it will. They'll have all gone their different ways and somehow made it to the end.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right, let's do Daniel Moser from Wisconsin. What's up? It's Daniel, also known as Tushball 101. Would love to know the history behind that, Daniel.
I wonder if that's in our fun office pools.
Maybe
that's where it is.
It's in the chat room. But, where do you come up with Tushball 101? Like, is that a college course that you took? What? This past week has been an abnormal 7 days as my left lung has collapsed, and I was in the hospital for 5 days. Not even the most shocking part, since I had a lot of time to myself, I was able to go back and listen to your whole Survivor Second Chat recap season. Wow. And halfway through Worlds Apart. That's what I call, next time someone's in the hospital, I go see people in the hospital quite often since I'm a pastor and, worship pastor. I'm going to, say, here's our podcast. Give you something to do while you're bored.
Here's an iPod. If you just want to listen to some old book. Now we know where all those downloads came from.
Yeah. Yeah. All 2,000 of them in 1 week. Wow. In total, in the past week, I've listened to 29.8 hours of your podcasting. Wow, poor guy. So I also thank you for giving me something to listen to, and I am looking for a speedy recovery now that I am out of the hospital. Well, absolutely, Daniel. And Daniel, if you like movies, listen to our movie talk. We have, especially the one with my brother Zach. Or I think we did a movie draft with him. I don't remember the name of it, but anyway.
Yeah. Movie draft.
Now on to Survivor, he says. This week's heartfelt moment goes to Jay. I think they're giving a lot of these moments out because of the edit talk last season. Now they're trying to make it more unpredictable for the audience and more hard to find out who is getting the winner's edit. He also finds an idol showing that he has a brain. Unfortunately, that brain of his, along with Will celebrating, got them caught by Michaela. I was glad she caught them, making me happy for her until her decision in the immunity challenge. Reward. I'm pretty sure that Figgy and Michelle were on their knees begging with a sign saying, please use this against us. That's funny. Figgy and Michelle were not Figgy and Michelle, but Michelle, right? It's Michelle. No, it's Figgy that said this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It wasn't Michelle. Although, later on, Michelle said she owes me her life. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Figgy and Michelle were showing Zeke and Adam how they weren't a part of their core alliance. They needed to have a filter when it comes to their reactions to the vote-offs. I wanted to mute my TV after Michelle was crying, yelling at David when he was blindfolded. She was so annoying, David should have spent his hours learning his left and right instead of puzzles. Also, during the challenge, Hannah had an anxiety attack. Last season, almost had somebody die on the island. So for Jeff to call medical and bring Dr. Joe shows how much more cautious they are about the contestants and their safety. Yeah,
oh, sorry. I was going to say that I took the EMT course to get the certification when I was in college. And the first thing they teach you is, even if you don't know what you're doing, look like you know what you're doing. And at the same time, the first thing you have to do when you arrive is calm the scene. And if you notice, Dr. Joe's voice was calm and soothing the whole time. He talked Hannah into doing what she needed to do. And then he kept trying to turn it back on her that she's the one that fixed herself. Right. You know, even though she was right, she did know what to do, but his calming voice said, just breathe with me. You're going to be fine. I'm not going to let you die. You're already better. Look, you're already breathing right. I'm like, dude, that dude's awesome. He's doing it exactly. I mean, I don't know how to fix an anxiety attack. I've never had to do it, but he was just perfect. In mere seconds, it seemed like he had her back breathing right and do what she had to do. But his voice is a tool. It's a medical tool, and it was awesome to listen to him do it.
But like back in the old movies, they just slap you real hard.
Splash water in your face. I still can't feel my fingers. Yeah.
Figtails at camp tell Ken and Jess about their relationship, which they already knew about because of how blatantly obvious they were making it. I probably forgot a lot of camp talk between challenges.
There wasn't a lot of camp talk between challenges.
Yeah, there wasn't. Immunity. It got all so interesting. It got also interesting at the end of the challenge. Michaela, after being tough on Hannah during the challenge, she decided to publicly help the Vanua tribe to victory because she wanted millennials to get numbers. If Adam, Figgy, and Taylor did vote out of Gen X, as she said, there's 3 of you. If you can't figure out how to work together, you deserve to go home. I just thought that was wonderful. She said that.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see her reaction next challenge. She exactly what I said, Daniel.
Yeah, she didn't even turn around. She just kind of did it over her shoulder. If you're not smart enough to figure this out, then you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
All right. Camp talk. It's Jessica and Ken versus Figgy and Taylor. Then there's Adam. Both sides made their case on why the others should go, with Figtails being confident. Tribal. Each time Figgy spoke, it was becoming more and more clear it was her going home. What shocked me was the most was when she said that Jessica and Ken were a pair like her and Taylor. That is not true. Did anybody tell her that Ken voted for Jessica? Vote off in a 3 that, and they're not, macking in the tent.
Right. Plus, well, the point that I think, I'm sure Adam made his decision before Tribal, but once she put her hand on his head, like she was rubbing the head of a 5-year-old kid, and he kind of grimaced at that when she's saying, this little guy voted for me in the first Tribal, but I don't hold any anxiety. He's like, if you don't get your hand off my head, I'm going to slap your hand off my head. I'm like, oh, that just did it for me.
Yeah. All right. Next time on, vote off in a 3-2 vote. This little Figgy cried all the way home. Next time on, Taylor fights with Adam. Not surprising. More eye-catching was David telling Zeke he has the idol. I don't see this being smart. Yeah, it's like, how many people can I tell I have an idol?
How many people can I trust? Because I trust everybody.
Yeah. He and Zeke don't look like a pair, and Zeke sounds like he'd rather side with Chris. Yeah, Zeke's type of guy that's going to use that against Adam, in my opinion. This week, I made a Facebook account and joined the D&D Survivor Talk group. He joined the group. It's really informative, and I'm glad I joined. I rejected you once, but it wasn't because of you. It's because I went to your Facebook account, and there was nothing there.
It said, we are still in the process of creating this page.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you were a troll or some weird Asian site or some sunglasses selling thing.
We get a lot of those, so we have to.
Yeah. So we filter out.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's good to have you, buddy. Well, hats off to another great week of Survivor. Bye, guys.
He makes two really good. Yeah, thank you, Danny. He makes 2 really good points, especially about Zeke. Everybody likes Zeke. That's really good for Zeke. And we don't see that about Michelle anymore. I still think she's one of the smartest people, but Zeke is just playing a sociable, likable game. And when he's in challenges, he's kicking butt.
Yeah.
But I mean, even in the social game, he's playing really hard. And he also talks about edit. And this is what I was thinking about when we were talking about edit earlier. There's another, and I think you said you don't really look for it like I do, or some things don't stick out. But after Michaela won and she hugged Hannah, the ball challenge, the immunity challenge, she went down to the group and Brett hugged her. And do you remember what Brett said? You only watched it once.
Yes. He said, "There's nothing you can't do." I think
wow,
that's what he said.
that's an interesting comment to put in the edit.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So
yeah.
Little things about edit, Zeke getting the confessionals, not Michelle, and Michaela getting that, and saying, if you're not smart enough to do it, then they're not going to do it. Because she pointed that out, they're not going to vote off one of the Gen Xers.
Yep. Sylvia said in our chat room that Figgy said in exit interviews that she would have actually married Taylor for real right there on the spot because it would have been a Survivor first.
Yeah, just because it's Survivor first doesn't mean it's a great idea.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have been able to consummate the marriage, so they could have annulled it.
They could have consummated it.
No, because she got voted off.
Oh, true.
So
maybe he'll be joining her soon. You never know.
I don't think so.
All right, I'm trying to move the chat room to the side so I can actually.
Yeah, because you've got Chris Diorio from Madison, Wisconsin.
Yep. Another Wisconsin being recognized.
That's right, man.
All right. He says, "Hey, guys, Chris Diorio from Madison, Wisconsin here. I know tonight needs to be a quick one, so I'll try to be brief. Is it just me, or does Jay seem like a better player now that he's separated from Figtails? Maybe he has promise after all." Yes, and Jay was also an alternate for Co-Wrong. He actually went out there with the people that played, but never got to play.
Wow.
So yeah, he actually went all the way out there with them. I kind of guessed Jay was going to find the idol. However, I thought Will was the snitch that was teased, and the drama was going to be more than it was. But Michaela stumbling upon them, that was awesome, and her reaction was great. Hannah could use a blowing up and idol find lesson from her. Speaking of Hannah, as someone who has had panic attacks before like that, I feel for her. We see a lot on the show about physical injury and hardships, but never the mental, emotional ones. I loved how Dr. Joe explained the situation. Just proves that you not only have to be healthy physically, but mentally throughout the game. She had a good scene. That was another very, very short scene we got with her and Sunday on the bamboo in the shelter. Just Sunday trying to tell her, don't worry about it. It's fine. You're fine. She goes, I don't want to be seen as weak. I know people are going to talk about this. And then she said in a confessional about, I needed a moment to stop thinking about the game, stressing of the game, and breathe. I mean, it was a real quick confessional. And it's a good point. Tony, Vlaco's talked about that. He was constantly thinking. It's like he constantly thought for 39 days. Then he stopped thinking. But she's like, I just need a moment to stop. And they've been fortunate to not go to tribal since they got this new Ikabula tribe, but still you're constantly thinking, because if you're not thinking and not talking to somebody, you're the one they're talking about. Yeah. So it's a lot of pressure. I can't imagine the pressure they feel. Let's see. Michaela has easily become my favorite player this year. Her comment at the end of the immunity challenge was great. When something appears in almost every feedback, it's a great moment for an episode.
Yeah.
Her comment at the end of the immunity challenge was great, and I'm loving her sass/bluntness. That said, I'm afraid that we are being set up for her mouth to end up sending her home.
I don't know. Either that or the next season.
Yeah. Finally, Figtails is no more. Does the happy dance. Terry actually did a happy dance for something this week, and I don't remember what for. She even said, did a happy dance. Like, where did you hear that? So I'm a much bigger super fan of Big Brother, so I'm inclined to hate all showmances. I'm not too worried about Taylor going after Adam. Taylor isn't as bright as Adam. And Adam has an idol. We'll see how that goes. That's all for now, at least for what I can remember. I'll see you in the chat tonight. And he will. He's in the chat.
Nice. All right. Hey, Chris Diorio. Chris, every time I think of Chris Diorio, I think of ice cold milk and a Diorio cookie. All right, forget it. Again, David doesn't laugh on cue.
It's not funny. It's a cookie. You're talking about food. It's not funny.
Dwaine, this is I'm sorry, this is Brian Fleming, not me. I did not submit a feedback. An ironic show title this week, The Truth Works Well. It was spoken in the episode by Michelle, who was in the early running, as I thought it was by Figgy.
No, Michelle said it about Figgy's comment.
Oh, okay. However, it became clear and then really, really clear that Figgy was going home. Jeff pointing out her excitement over Michelle surviving on her tribe, slamming her for her blindfolded puzzle failure, and then her losing immunity turn. Couple that with the blatant snuggle alerts, and Figgy was dead woman walking. The most obvious boot of the season, not just to Taylor, while she had the Drew Christie edit. When you reach your Survivor expiration date, she was a much sharper player than he was. Just 5 women left in the game. Think about it. Who would have gone home if the other tribes lost? Michelle for sure on her tribe, and likely Sunday on hers. Is there such a thing as gender pagonging? Just not a season for women to last early in the game. Now I know this open season all ends come merge time. The trick is not to be voted out first. You know, not just Brian, but so many people say it was so obvious. It was so obvious. It was so obvious. I don't ever feel that way. I mean, it's like if someone else had been voted out, it's like everybody would have said, oh, it was so obvious. It was so obvious. It's like people are always saying it's so obvious.
Yeah, that's the part I try not to watch either. Afterwards, you think about it. Yeah, Jessica didn't get any confessionals. Ken didn't get a lot of confessionals. Vicky had all the confessionals. So I guess it could have been seen as obvious if you're counting. But I'm more strategizing, thinking during the episode. So no, I mean, it was obvious to me that it was probably going to happen after Michaela's comment, but not through the whole episode. I wasn't really thinking on it then. So
I don't know. I was scared to death Kim was going home. So I guess I just don't see it all like y'all do. I don't see it.
No, it wasn't obvious to me either.
To me, it was obvious Kim was going. So, you know.
I was leaning more towards Figgy than Kim, but to me, I wasn't locked on Figgy going.
Yeah. Network news has always had a callous catchphrase, if it bleeds, it leads. The most compelling part of every newscast and something that will be prominently featured. Yeah, that's why I hate the news. Can't stand watching the news. Survivor's favorite go-to has to be the tearful and heartfelt confessional. Yep. I have enjoyed Jay's competence and humor all season, but he showed true depth of feeling here. When Survivor reveals a compelling and tearful story arc, as it did for Adam, Michaela, and now Jay, you have to assume a very deep run in the game. In true millennial fashion, Jay's idol hunt was a team effort. How close are Will and Jay that they did this together? Very, I assume, as idol hunting should not ever be a team activity. In truth, the idol was anything but idle. It was a very busy idol, as it was seen by 3 people in a matter of moments. Poor Jay. Will had one job, lookout, and failed big time with that one. Poor Will, based on his baffling decision to sit out back-to-back immunity challenge. Yeah, it has to be said, Will won't. As in won't win. I think this season's lone Gen Z person is a bit overwhelmed by the experience. He survives but doesn't thrive, not a winning formula. Does he know there is no participation trophy for just showing up? Last season's Julia, surprised by, but 18 may just be too young for most people to play Survivor. I think an older Will would have brought more to the table. Yeah. I am pretty dumbfounded why in the world Will keeps sitting out challenges. I mean, is he just...
Yeah.
I mean, anyway. Did Adam make the right choice in voting out Figgy? It screams big move, so Jeff would like it, but does it make sense? I suppose when you are on the bottom of your previous alliance, why not shake it up? If anything, my winner pick Adam seems even more like a front runner to me. Now back to the show title. The Truth Works Well. For Ken, this doesn't seem to be ironic. I think he approaches the game of Survivor, an often cruel and duplicitous game, with honesty and earnestness, and he seems to gather allies with relative ease. David, Jess, Adam. Is his approach all part of a long con? I doubt it. Really, though, Zen Ken is one of the most unusual players to ever be on Survivor. I have been a watcher since the first season's final tribal council and can't remember anyone who played like him or talked like him or acted like him. Like Jay, he's not what you expect and isn't that element of surprise that makes Survivor so amazing.
I think Ken I don't know if he knew the game too well beforehand. I think he's learning it day by day, but I think he's also playing it day by day like David. But I think David's more erratic. He's leaving a mess behind him, whereas Ken's leaving a calmness behind him, it seems like. Ken's just got this, like you said, zen about him that just makes him more calm and makes him more likable and trusting.
Okay. In a season pretty well lacking in villains, Paul clearly was meant for that role, but departed too early to make an impact. I think Zeke may pick up the slack here. His cutting and kind of snarky confessionals last night seemed to suggest it. I agree, by the way. Mm-hmm. Time will tell. Nature and Survivor abhor a vacuum. It is written, there must be a villain on the season. There always is.
A villain? There must be.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you. Brian from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Looking forward to a major non-Easter this weekend. Oh, sorry. I can't read. Looking forward to a major nor'easter this weekend. Nothing good comes from an easterly wind, eh? I added the A because he's from Canada.
Yeah, good A. Bruce had a good comment in the chat room. He says, David is playing this game like he's writing it for television, i.e. he's giving the fans what they want. Oh. That's interesting because he is. He's hitting. It's almost like he's checking off things as to what people want to see on Survivor.
Yeah. All right, let's thank Brian. Thank you.
Andy Westover. It's who's next? David
from Cameron, Missouri. I don't have a Yoda voice. I'll leave it to you.
Show me state.
Good evening, gentlemen. After 6 episodes, we are down. Oh boy, there's going to be a lot of numbers in this, I can tell.
Yes.
After 6 episodes, we are down to 14 players left, 8 millennials and 6 Gen X. It seems safe to say that the merge should be rapidly approaching. Since it was not teased in the next time on, my prediction is that it will happen in episode 8. Now, that said, I'm very happy to say that this looks like it should be an unpredictable post-merge game. The tribes have been talking about the original tribe numbers come merge, but I just don't see original tribes being that big of a factor this season. I agree. I think both will fracture before that time.
Yeah, I think some of them want it to be, a.k.a. Michaela, but I think it's just not happening, and it's going to fall apart.
I mean, it worked. Go ahead.
And that could be Michaela's downfall. If she's really pushing for that and it's not going to happen, and she's insisting on making it happen.
Yeah.
Good
point. Yeah, because the one person that they didn't want deciding between Taylor and Figgy and Gen Xers is the guy that was on the bottom of the alliance.
Right.
And he was. Now, that said, I'm very happy to say that this looks like, I just read that. I don't see the remainders of the Gen X tribe are divided, to say the least. The remainders of the Millennial tribe also appear to be divided, and their alliances are largely untested. That's a great point. They've only been to tribal once. With that said, in the absence of apparently strong alliances, I think we may be looking at another voting block situation. I think that if the merge happened with the current remaining players, I think they would break down into roughly the following 4 groups. Triforce, which is Jay, Taylor, Michelle, likely Will. I would say definitely Will, because Will's going to follow Jay. The Millennial Outcast, Michaela, Zeke, Adam, and Hannah. And you got to remember, Michaela voted with the Triforce. So whether she could fluctuate between both. The Gen X in-group, Chris, Brett, and Sunday. And then the Gen X Outcast, Ken, Jessica, and David. So I think as far as the Gen X goes, Sunday is another person that could flip between the two. Because I think she was close to Jessica.
Yeah.
But she's also could be close. She also voted for Jessica. So,
Sunday might, just the fact that we're not getting any of Sunday makes me think that she's going to go far because she's on no one's radar.
Yeah.
No one's radar, which is a great place to be if you're not like controlling the game, right? I either want to be controlling the game or on nobody's radar.
Like Tyler did in Worlds Apart. He was on nobody's radar until the end. See, I was thinking that she would, and I think I said it preseason, with her being a youth pastor at one point and working with kids and adults that she would try to be a mentor to these millennials, like we saw with her and Hannah. But we've only seen one conversation that way, I think, or else I don't think I guess it's not going to be a factor like I thought it might be.
Yeah. And another thing we haven't seen this season that we thought we were going to, and maybe it's to come, is a lot of like God talk and stuff, religious talk.
That's true.
We haven't seen that. I thought we were going to get some with Sunday and Hannah, but we didn't get any.
Yeah.
So,
And I also think earlier feedback said Sunday would be the first to go. Might have been Will. I think Jay and Michaela are both, and Hannah are both smart enough to say, you know what? We're only a tribe or a week or two away from the merge. Why not? Let's get rid of Brett. He's going to be a more physical challenge than Sunday's going to be. Sunday hasn't blown away any challenges. Brett could be the one. In fact, we could bring Sunday in and turn on these other people if we can get in with her.
You know,
Hannah has
14 players left. Man, they're going to merge in the next 2 weeks. Probably not this week, but they could merge in. I could see them merging really soon. Like if not the next week, and if not 2 weeks, 3 weeks for sure.
I hope not 2 weeks,
but I think 2 weeks.
That Sunday is my trap. I'm supposed to be traveling.
No, we're having a big show on the merge weekend.
I know, but anyway. Let's see. So those are the groups you broke down. Barring any super annoying or ridiculous behaviors by anyone in particular, it seems to me that the once in Triforce group will find themselves on the outs. I just don't think the other 3 blocks will want to work with them, and they could very well be the first to go. I agree, because I think Michelle is going to look for a new group. I think she's going to let them fall, those 3 guys. I think the Millennial Outcasts will be a very strong force, as they seem to be generally with it. No one is acting particularly paranoid or crazy, and seem easy to get along with and work with. Whereas the Gen X groups have some stronger personalities who could be seen as grating. How do you guys see it going down? It really is going to depend on who's left with the Gen Xers when the Millennials start turning on each other. Yeah, I mean, that's an easy way to say it, but I don't know. I agree, though. It could be a hectic merge.
No one is active. I'm sorry, I was typing something. Millennial Outcasts will be very strong force. That's true. No one's really, other than Hannah being a little, panic attack every once in a while.
But if anything, that's why you'd keep her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
All right. Thank you, Andy from Cameron, the Show Me State, Missouri. All right. Next we have Bought Labor. Bought. It's time for Bought. Hello there, Survivor Talk family. Let's jump right on it, shall we? First, did anyone else see the quick shot of the snake at camp when the episode opened and the tribe came back? Tribal Council. Was that a reference to last week's tribal or this upcoming tribal?
I didn't notice a snake.
Well, I remember a snake last episode because we talked about there's snake in them, their
baskets. Yeah, I remember that.
So he continues, I learned 3 things from the reward challenge. Number 1, I would never, ever want to direct David in any type of stage play. The man flat cannot take direction. That is absolutely true. Michelle is smart as a whip and has the potential to go far. The way that she got that puzzle together so quickly using Zeke was impressive. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. The chat room is talking about us building an empire. No, we're not going to build an empire. Podcasting is a hobby for us. We do not earn a living doing it. Not with 42 patrons, we don't. But no, we have no desire to become a podcasting empire. Number 3, but thank you for your kind words that are in there. All right, anyway, Ken. Well, now, you have either answered the questions about your Ken doll status or you have made it worse. The way you were running around blindfold with your hand covering your sensitive areas, were you protecting them or looking for them? Oh, he was protecting them, which I thought was pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I mean, really smart. And then he still got whacked a couple times.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
My question is, and if there's any survivors listening right now and you want to text or message Dwaine or Ryan, let us know. You can do that. But I wonder how much time, if any, they get to look out on the field and see what's out there. I think we asked Dan that question. I don't remember what he said. I don't remember if they shielded him or what, but I mean, I wonder if they get to study it and look out there and see how far they can walk.
At the immunity challenge, someone stepped up to the plate and showed some serious moxie. She is now my favorite to win. Michaela, you watch. She will be there at the end. I'm calling it right now.
Something I wanted to point out at the immunity challenge that I caught was that Probst made sure that the two guys from each tribe were off the ladder rack and on the mat before their girl counterparts could come down and open the bags.
Yeah.
Except for the Orange tribe. David was still halfway up the ladder when he told the girls to Zeke and Michelle to go.
Really?
If you go back and watch it, I mean, Jay and who was with Jay? Brett. Jay and Brett had to jump on the mat. Jay had to get on the mat, and Probst says go. But when the Orange tribe, who's trying to catch up, Chris is off, and David is still halfway up the ladder, and he tells them to go to get to the bags. He's still climbing down from the ladder.
I wonder if that's just a post-production editing mistake.
Oh, like an audio edit. Yeah, it's true.
Because, I mean, Probst, he's pretty good about keeping things fair as far as I can recall. And that wouldn't be fair.
Because he wants the race to be close. So
he's but I mean, not at the expense of
No, I think you're right. That's probably an edit, post edit.
But anyway, I mean, I doubt they made a mistake. So,
although I don't know. I think it showed him telling them to go, and they're running while David's still climbing down. So it'd be interesting.
All right, glad to see Figgy gone. Just glad to see her gone. He says she needed to go, and Taylor needs to be careful with making those thinly veiled threats, or he will join Figgy at home. Well, that's it for me. Time to let the current carry me to CC's Pizza. Have a good day unless you have other plans. Bart A. Labor. And by the way, CC's Pizza's got some great cinnamon rolls. Thank you, Bart. All right. Oh, go ahead.
So, before we get to Mir I Am's audio, I wrote in our Facebook group and that Adam needs to go to Taylor and tell him, basically explain to Taylor, who should listen, that what he did basically saved Taylor and put Taylor in a good spot to make it to the end.
Yeah, Taylor's not going to listen, though.
He's got to listen. Adam's got to explain it the right way, but you're right. He's not going to listen because he doesn't think Adam is smart.
That's right.
He's going to take him out. You're right. But at the same time, he's got to tell him that what he did was not for him, but it's going to make him a better player because he's now not going to be seen as a target. Yeah. But the best thing you can tell somebody, though, especially in this situation, because this is going to get back to the whole tribe, obviously, is if Adam can go to Taylor and say, look, I know you've got your Triforce that you work with, but who would ever expect you and I to secretly be working together?
And Taylor would go, no way, dude. No. That's just wrong.
Okay, then we lose the next challenge and you're gone.
I don't get to Mac anymore thanks to you. I mean, Jessica's too old for me.
Man, that look, I was ready for Taylor to make a move at the tribal council and hit him. I mean, really? See, now you can be focused. Jay's going to say, dude, this is the best thing that could have happened to you. Get over here and let's get back to playing Survivor.
Yeah, now he'll listen to Jay.
Yeah.
But he won't listen to Adam because he doesn't respect Adam. And like you said, he thinks Adam is uneducated and not very smart.
Yeah.
He's wrong. He's the opposite of that.
Exactly.
So, agreed. Mir I Am says it. Only Jay could talk to him. Speaking of Mir I Am, let's get to her feedback. Now, Mir I Am, you use SpeakPipe to leave your feedback. And SpeakPipe has a 90-second limit. So you're not messing up when it cuts off. You're just running out of time. So just letting you know that. You will hear a definite break in her audio, and it is whenever her SpeakPipe gave up. So anyway, here we go.
Hi, Dave and Dwaine, or Dwaine and David. How are you guys? This is Mir I Am, aka Vader Girl. Still calling from a hotel. Just gave my cats a bath. They're not very happy. Cat lady problems. Anyways, loved the show. It was great. I still think Ken is winning. I still am in love with him. I'm very happy that they're showing him with some strategy, but he still seems to be winning as far as I'm concerned. I'm really glad Adam teamed up with him. I love Gen X Jess. I think she's just beautiful and awesome. And I was very happy to see Zeke and David performing well, and Chris all seeming to be possibly in an alliance. I was sad to see Figgy leave. I think she's a great villain. I think they should have taken her along and got rid of Taylor. And Hannah's panic attack was another thing that stood out to me. I get panic attacks, and for anybody who's making fun of her or saying she's a weak person for doing it, I think she is a courageous person for doing it, because it shows that despite challenges like Rocky or anybody else, you can just, you can pull through it. And she did. I have panic attacks. You can't always control them. They feel like you're dying, you're having a heart attack. It's not fun or funny. And I just am really, really loving her and think it's great that she represented us. And I don't know what else to say. It was a great show. Love you guys. May the force be with you. Michaela's great, but, I didn't really like how she was too. Hi, Dwaine and David. This is Mira. I Am again. Crazy cat lady problems. Those bathing two cats took the wind out of me, and they're fat cats, spoiled cats, and they like to scratch me up. So I'm a little bit winded, but I want to get this in by the deadline. I also want to say something about Michelle. I know you guys love her and think she's great. I'm sorry, Michelle. I send you nothing but love and light, but I really, to watch you on TV, you are grinding. Your voice was horrible. I think you were one of the worst callers in Survivor history. I mean, you made no sense and helped no, but you didn't help. I know you guys ended up winning, and maybe you pulled it through with the puzzle somehow, but I think the way you talked to David was terrible, and it really upset me every single time. I was cringing. Your voice sounded like two styrofoam cups rubbing together, and I just really can't care for I don't care for her arrogance and the way she's treating David. I'm sorry. It's really upsetting me. And sorry, Michelle, but you got to go. I don't like you, girl, and I hope you're next, because in my eyes, you're a villain. You can hide behind God all you want to, but a hypocrite's a hypocrite. A liar's a liar. Sorry, guys. Love you. May the force be with you. Black cats and kale for life. And thank you guys for doing all you do. Bye-bye.
Did she say black cats and kale for life? Is that what she said?
I think that is what she said.
Wow. Firecrackers and kale. I think she meant actual cats.
No love for the ladies of Triforce.
I know, man. Poor girl's got a styrofoam voice, and Miriam just goes, Rah! Golly, Miriam. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, good job, Miriam, as always. All right, let's move on. Last week's buff winner, Gwen Stevens from Santa Barbara.
Hi, D&D. It's Gwen from Santa Barbara. I hope I got this in on time. Actually, I checked the timestamp, and it was 6:59. So, yes, you did. I am loving my new buff, and it came just in time for Halloween. Sweet. Insert thumbs up emoji here. My thoughts on this is from her phone, so I guess it was supposed to be a thumbs up emoji. It was supposed to be that. I love that. That reminds me of my favorite voicemail that I still have on my phone from Dwaine, where he called me and was speaking into my voicemail and thought he was dictating a message to his texting and said the message and then said period. Oh, I guess I don't need to say period right there, do I? I still have that message. It cracks me up whenever I need to laugh. Back to Gwen's feedback. My thoughts on the episode. This episode was a complete failure. And by that, I mean fantastic, obvious boot episode. Does Dr. Joe treat foot and mouth disease? I think Figgy and Taylor have a bad case. I think Adam made the correct decision. He was at the bottom of the Millennials, too lazy to find correct spelling, and autocorrect is so Gen X. Oh, I autocorrected and corrected Millennials because I can't spell either.
It's always double L, double N.
Well, to me, it's the E and the I. That's the E in the middle.
Oh,
he was at the bottom of the Millennial Alliance and would have been one of the first ones voted out after prolonging the Gen Xers. That's right. I hope he hooks back up with Zeke and Chris. Yeah, I agree. I think it was great because he knocked out a voting block of 5, include Will. That's 5 people. Yeah. So what do you think of Michaela's comment at the challenge about how if the Millennials don't figure it out, they should go home? she's probably going to look at Taylor and say, "You should have just gone with her."
Yeah.
Because if y'all can't get the job done, you shouldn't be out here. I think she helped the other tribe because she doesn't like failure. Which, when Jeff asked, I think her comment was an excuse. Quick thinking on her part. Anyway, can't wait for the podcast tonight. Gwen.
She wrote in the chat room that the insert thumbs up emoji here was done on purpose, David. It was done on purpose.
Oh, well, I like it on purpose. That's
Okay.
cool.
All right.
Makes me laugh.
Thank you, Gwen. And I loved your picture of you wearing the
Yes.
the buff. Love it.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
This was very, very, very last second. That's why I threw my name on there because I forgot that it was.
Oh, it's
in
Faith.
order. Faith.
Yeah.
Faith Schuler from Rochester, Washington.
You gotta have faith, faith, faith. I can read it.
Go for
I can
it.
read it. Yeah. Hi guys, I'm enjoying the season so far. I feel like the Figgy going home was pretty obvious the whole episode. Am I the only one that doesn't think it's obvious?
No, I guess we should be in the chat room and let everybody else do the podcast.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I just, for some reason, it's rarely obvious to me. And when I think it's obvious, it's the other person.
Well, last week I kind of figured it was CC.
See, I
But
thought
this
it was
week-
obvious Ken was going home. And
Oh,
he
no.
isn't. And he didn't. I'm glad the showmance is gone, Faith says. And I'm getting worried about my girl, Michelle. Hopefully the Orange Tribe keeps winning. I'm thinking the merge is going to be coming soon, maybe even week 7. Thoughts? Yeah, it could happen next week, but I don't think, have we ever had a merge at 14?
I don't think I agree with Andy that we didn't get a next time on. They like to brag about that
Yeah.
because that's one of my favorite episodes is the merge episode.
I'm liking seeing Zeke and Dave talk. I like cheering for the underdog. Yeah, I think Zeke's going to just take Dave and chew him up and grind him and throw him out. Zeke's a much better player than Dave is.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for doing what you do. Faith, originally from that place in Washington. Go Hawks.
Ephrata.
Ephrata.
Yeah, I'll try that.
So,
Go ahead
anyway,
and give her applause. That's
Yes,
great
yes,
feedback.
yes.
I think only because of I think the fact that we're getting bits and pieces of Michelle, but not confessionals from Michelle, is setting her up to be a near boot because we're not getting. She's smart enough that she's got good plans, but we're not getting those plans necessarily. We're getting responses from her. Whereas with Zeke, we're getting confessionals. We're getting him telling us how things are going his way now. And I think that's more long-term setting up.
Yeah. By the way, I just noticed my wife does my sign for me. And I just noticed at the very bottom, it says in the Bible. Oh, it's funny. All right.
Bruce says, do you think,
go
hold on.
ahead.
Yeah, do you think Taylor saying Adam would get his tail kicked by Millennials for flipping sent him over the edge at Tribal? Sealed. No, I think Adam was set before he got there.
Yeah, I think he already knew it. I mean, after all, the edit made it clear to him who was going home.
I made it clear. Yeah. If anybody, it made it clear to Adam.
Yeah. It's time for the buff giveaway. This is provided by buffusa.com. When you go to buffusa.com, use the link buffusa.com/survivortalk33 so they'll know that we sent you. That is why we get to give you buffs, because they like the advertisement and they like knowing that people that listen to our show go to their site using our link and get 10% off of your buff by using the promo code SurvivorTalk33. So David has randomly assigned numbers to all of our feedback submitters who met the following requirements as posted on Facebook. Live in the continental U.S., submitted a feedback about episode 6, and left feedback by the 7 p.m. Eastern time deadline. So, David, how many do I need to ask Siri for a random number?
We had 11 with Canada, but unfortunately we can't do Canada. So we
Can't
have
do
to
Canada.
We can only do 10.
10. All right, here we go. Give me a random number between 1 and 10.
The answer is 10.
The answer is 10.
Wow, we just made somebody's dream come true. Number 10 was number 1. That's Sylvia.
Oh, Sylvia, got a buff today.
All the way from Boston.
From Boston. She's gonna wear her buff while she talks to the sharks.
See
Gosh, that was
now.
horrible.
Yes, it was. We now we have a way. You know how people jinx themselves of saying, "Well, it's not me going home." She said in the chat room that she wanted a buff because it would make her dream. You know, so
Yeah.
people are gonna you get in our chat room, send us some feedback by 7, get in our chat room, and then say you're gonna win the buff tonight.
You know what? I'm gonna post on Twitter right now. Survivor Talk with D&D, making dreams come true. With
Not for the host, just the buff winners.
with Buff USA.
There you go. Put a little hashtag buff. Get them or at buff.
Congratulations, Sylvia. What's your Twitter handle?
And you're crackling really bad.
Am I really? It's because I'm doing stuff on another. So anyway, making people's dreams come true. My first buff ever. Awesome. So buff headwear is simple, effective, and infinitely adaptable. At its core is a moisture managing microfiber fabric that is wind and able to control odor. Is amazing. It can be worn in more than 12 days. Although we have trouble getting it done in all those days. So, hey, thank you for official Millennials versus Survivor buffs over at buffua.com.
Now you get an echo.
Come.
Coming from Buffs USA.
Hey. Okay, I need to get what's going on.
I don't know. No.
Sorry.
Should I have read it?
Congratulations. As soon as you tell me her Twitter handle is, I send you feedback address. Yes, you should. But first, send me your Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for
You right. Read. iTunes reviews.
Yeah, we don't have any of those today. Sorry, but if you leave us an iTunes, we'll read it on the air. And so iTunes lingo. Hey, look, peep them.
This is hard to listen to. I guess I need to pull up the notes and read the rest of it because you're bouncing all over the place.
Well, I can leave back.
You'll leave and come back? Okay.
I don't know how.
You think that'll do it? You said you were using a different. Is it machine you're using or?
It's like okay. I'll leave.
Where is? Oh, you put them in Google. You can just take this part out of the other podcast. Let's see. Oh, Miriam says you need to. Thank you, Gwen. Yes, I was listening. I was hard not to listen when he was talking 2 or 3 times of one word. So she congratulated me on actually listening to you this time. Hearing your echo.
Trying to get out, and it won't let me.
Oh.
Let me close the windows. See if everything's going crazy. I don't have headphones. Am I still echoing?
Yeah. Well, try to say something.
Hello.
It's hard to tell.
We're echoing or not?
Yeah, you're echoing still. Okay.
Well, you go ahead and the
All right, let me see. Just pull the notes up. Come on, computer, catch up. So as our I'll do the closing. Thank you for shopping Amazon using the links on our website, which is www.stwdd.com. Each time you do, you support the show, and it doesn't cost you a penny more. If you like our show and want to contribute a small amount monthly, you can become a D&D patron, which are at the beginning You make a huge difference in our podcast budget each month, and we appreciate that greatly, as do our wives. We still got 2 more spots for the free signed shirt or mug. Oh, who's going to sign it? Oh, us? Really? 2 more spots available for the free signed shirt or mug drawing during our first show in November, which should be next week. So, and he's nodding currently. We now have an always open D&D store with shirts, hoodies, mugs, etc. Items shipped weekly. So head on over and get your stuff. That's stwdd.com/store, or click on the link on our website. Lots of t-shirts in there and stuff. Always open 24/7. We got the best employees there. Thank you for tuning in, sharing our show with others. Subscribe. Don't mess with it, or you'll be reading it with an echo. Subscribing on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube, and for being a part of the D&D family. And again, thank you all for that watch live and chat in our Facebook group live, because that's really neat. Especially like Dwaine said, that is the first thing I read Thursday morning when I get up. And if I'm getting ready for work and waiting for something, I'll pull up Facebook and I'll just start reading that. Or when I get to work, I'll start reading all the comments. I love the reactions. Because you get comments right before the challenge, you get comments right after the challenge, you get comments right before the vote, people guessing on who's going and stuff. And it's pretty neat. It's like a live chat for watching the show. I don't know who the big winner was this week in the D&D Survivor Challenge, but I do know it's posted. Our Facebook group has the latest posts. Andy's already got them up. I think I went up 1, and I think Dwaine went up like a couple.
Right.
I think. But we both lost Figgy. She was on both of our teams. Let's see. Oh, I see what you're doing. I didn't update this. You were letting me know not to read it live because you didn't update it. All right. Anything else you want to add, Dwaine? In double voice?
No.
All right. Thank you all in the chat room. Let me say goodbye to your chat. Where's the chat room go? Oh, it's way over here. Sorry. It's all on one computer. I need a bigger monitor for this computer. Actually, I need a monitor, period. And there's Sylvia's work address. So I guess she wants everybody to know her work address. Okay.
Ow.
All right. So we're going to sign off. Dwayne's going to sign off twice. I'll just sign off once. And this should be interesting for the voice for the end of the video with that, with the link. So I have no idea what to say here. So I'll let you take it from here.
Supposed to go. See
everybody.
See ya.
I'm a